Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Hangout with ST. She's Alyssa.
And he's Hairianto. And Hangout with ST is a weekly show where we bring you top stories of the week.
That's right, anything that is local to everything that's happening
around the world.
And of course, this is episode 56. Yeah, and this week, Alyssa, it's a little special. We are going to be focusing on one particular topic, which is the Christchurch terror attacks. Because really, you know, we want to show the magnitude and the extent of what has happened on Friday.
And as always, we are coming to you live from the Straits Times newsroom. So do leave your comments and we'll read it later during the show.
Yeah, of course, that said, we will still have our Onyam segment, which is other news in a minute, before we segue to Facebook Face Off. And then we will wrap up today's Hangout with ST. But of course, yeah, if you have any comments, anything that you want to say, you can still put in the comment section. We will still read it, like what Alyssa mentioned. And of course, you know, if you want to leave any well wishes or thoughts and prayers to the victims and to the family of the victims of the Christchurch massacre, you may do so as well.
That's right. So maybe we'll say hi to some viewers right now.
Yeah.
So it's raining very heavily here where we are at Toa Payoh. We see a lot of our colleagues kind of stuck at the lobby, right, trying to call the cars and all that.
Yeah.
Wondering if any of you are stuck in the office too, waiting for the rain to stop.
Yeah. Clive Chua says hi. Samuel Chua says hello, hello.
Hello.
Diki Karnan, hashtag they are us. Hello everyone. How's everyone?
I'll say
doing?
good evening, everybody.
Yeah.
Good evening.
We'll just let people just come in. I think people are just tuning
right?
in and streaming in, right? Again, like we mentioned earlier on, for those of you who have just joined us, today's Hangout with ST, we are focusing on one particular topic, which is the Christchurch terror attack that basically gripped, you know, the whole world on Friday.
And we're trying to make a point. We're trying to take a stand against bigotry and then saying that, you know, there is no room for extremism.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, again, like we mentioned, if wherever you are watching us, if you have any comments at all, if you want to leave any of your wishes to the family of or the loved ones of the victims, you may do so as well in the comments section below. Let's see, we have Mardia says hello, that's my mom.
Hi.
Buntan Popo Machit, apologies if I got your name wrong, that is greetings. Do we have anyone else?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so it was a devastating day for New Zealand and the world on Friday, where 50 lives were lost in mass shootings in 2 mosques in the city of Christchurch.
Now, the suspect, a white supremacist linked to this act of terrorism, was charged with murder on Saturday. Now, he was remanded without a plea and is due back in court on April 5th, where police said he was likely to face more charges.
In addition to the 50 who were killed, dozens more were wounded in New Zealand's worst ever mass shooting. As though the terror attack was not enough, the right-wing extremist even filmed himself carrying out the act, and it was streamed live online.
Yeah, and of course, you know, media organizations, Facebook, YouTube as well, right? They've stand in solidarity to say that, you know, okay, we'll take whatever, you know, these videos that have been circulating around. But of course, you know, they're still out there. So if you do come across the videos, please do not share them. Report it, you know, so that it can be taken down. Why? Because, you know, we don't want to highlight what the gunman had done, right? We don't want to highlight what the perpetrator has done, exactly. And of course, you know, the nature of the video, it is violent. Right?
So 2 other accomplices linked to this act of terrorism has also been identified, and after some delay, the burials for the victims finally began yesterday.
And as you can see here, of course, the loved ones just and that is the process. The bodies of 2 victims were carried in open caskets into a large tent at Christchurch Memorial Park Cemetery. Now, the 2 bodies were the first burials of the 50 victims.
6 victims were buried yesterday, with more expected during the week, and the majority of the victims were migrants or refugees from countries such as Pakistan, India, Malaysia, Indonesia, Turkey, Somalia, Afghanistan and Bangladesh. The youngest victim was a boy who was 3 years old. He was born in New Zealand to Somali refugee parents.
Yeah. So the first 2 victims buried that we mentioned, father and son Khalid and Hamza Mustafa. Now they came from war-torn Syria. So all these refugees, they came from all over the
war-stricken
world,
countries, for safety, right? They left for safety.
Yeah, here in New Zealand, but little did they know, they were caught in an unfortunate and tragic event as well. And of course, Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern also said, I cannot tell you how gutting it is. A family came here for safety, and they should have been safe here.
Okay. So, of course, this came about because of the actions of a few extremists, but we don't want to focus too much on them, but instead, at the end of the day, it really, as a society, it's really about mutual respect and understanding.
And tolerance, right? Really, we still have a long way to go in understanding what it truly means to respect and appreciate other people and their differences. So yesterday, when we were going,
we had a long discussion.
We had a long discussion, right? And one thing that we can all agree is that yes, each of us, we are different, right? We have differing beliefs, we have differing appearances, we have different cultural and social backgrounds and standings, right?
Yeah, which is great. Like we shouldn't all be the same.
Exactly.
For everything.
Exactly. Yeah. So this begs the question then, how do we manage these differences? And I think as a society, we need to learn how to deal and manage with these differences. And definitely hate and
violence
is not the answer, right?
So we're discussing, a lot of us, we don't actually resort to violence, right? We day to day, we don't resort to violence. Hate is also a very strong word. And we were talking, usually what we've noticed, sometimes we are guilty of it too, right? Is that when you meet someone who maybe you disagree with on their values, their beliefs, whatever it may be, one reaction could be to then just don't associate with that person. Just like just leave them alone and just stay within your shell, your silo, of people who are like-minded.
Like-minded,
Right?
I mean,
it's their prerogative. It's our prerogative as well, but
Correct.
it does not make for an inclusive society. And then there is an opportunity lost for understanding that person more, or that group better,
more,
right?
And at the end of the day, also, I mean, this you're right? It's about immersing yourself and of course learning these new other things, and then just opening up, and then there's growth, right? In that.
Of course, I understand it's easier said than done, right? Because definitely there are moments where you feel uncomfortable. And when someone questions your beliefs or your values, it's easy to get defensive about it.
For
or
sure.
it can easily get into quite a heated or aggressive discussion, right? But I think it shouldn't be. Of course, we want to be a harmonious society, but the fear of riling people up, or the fear of that, it might escalate into argument, it shouldn't stop us from trying to be understanding in the first place.
For sure. And whatever it is, with whatever, you are different, I'm different, we acknowledge that. But that does not make you any inferior or superior to me based on the differences, which is it, right? So it's really about how do you handle, right, these differences between you and me.
And I think as a society, as a whole, we have a lot more to do as an institution or as individuals. We have a part to play. For example, there is no room for hate speech, or or people hiding behind the banner of freedom of speech. Or like, this is my right, I can say what I want to say. But sometimes it's not responsible behavior.
Exactly.
Right?
You need to have your boundaries, right?
Yes.
You need to have your limits. Freedom of speech to what extent? Right? To the extent of hurting other people? I don't think it should be that, right? And really the other question also, this whole scene also, this whole incident or terror attack, also begs the question that are the extremists the only ones that we need to look out for? What about the people in the middle ground as well?
Because you can never completely eradicate extremists. They always exist, right? And then we'll say that maybe, yes, they obviously pose a very real threat and danger, but we can't be sitting here on our chair and then judging them and saying that you are the bad guys, we are not. Because we are saying the middle ground, they're dangerous because they can be easily swayed. The middle group, the middle ground people who may not have opinions of their own.
It's mob mentality.
You just go with the popular opinion of the day. and get swept by it.
And then get swept by it, and then you know, the next thing you know, things just go out of control. But really, you know, at the end of the day, of course, that said, sometimes also people pass off racial slurs. Some, you know, sometimes not so what do you call that, positive messages, you know, and brushing it aside or laughing it off. I think that is something that we need to be careful of as well.
It may not be violent, it may not be physically harmful, but it still breeds resentment.
Right. You know, and definitely to the person who's receiving it, you know, you don't know what happens after that, right?
Yeah, they could try to be cool with it to maybe fit in with you, or like, you know, like, oh yeah, I'm above it all, but
exactly.
They could be hurt too, you know.
Exactly. So for those of you, of course, who are watching us at home, again, you know, we are discussing one very particular topic this week, which is the Christchurch terror attacks. And certainly, you know, we want to focus on it simply because we want to show the importance, right, that we stand against issues like racism, bigotry, and all that has happened with regard and in relation to the terror attack. Yeah,
and we'll also discuss it as a society and as individuals, what we can do to squash hate speech or squash such behavior.
Such behavior, exactly. You know, and of course, like we said, you know, we acknowledge differences. You know, people are different. People are built not the same. Right?
Just wondering for viewers, can you hear Hairianto clearly? Does he need to adjust his mic levels?
Do I need to go a bit
higher? Yeah.
Okay, maybe I need to speak a bit louder.
Maybe. But actually, your voice usually is very loud already.
Yeah, usually, right?
But, you know, just in case.
But okay, so we were saying that, you know, people are not similar, right? People are not similar, but you know, so it's acknowledging that, but then it's moving forward from that. And how do we deal with these dissimilarities?
That's right.
Right.
Maybe we can see what some people are saying as well.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Alright. I got some comments about like my outfits, but I really okay. I mean, it's just an all black outfit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Balu Classical Romance says ban weapon might do something good. Okay.
And then Sarah Khan says we must have intelligent conversations with people of different races and religions to understand more about each other.
Yeah. Theodore Ramona Olsen says so sad. This should never have happened. Condolences to the families of all the victims. May they rest in peace. Yeah.
And then, okay, people can hear you just fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Let's see, what else do we have? Samuel, okay, I can hear you both very loud and clear. Of course, again, for those of you who have just joined us in this conversation, right, about the Christchurch terror attacks. And really, you know, you have any condolences, messages, well wishes, you may put them in the comment section as well.
Exactly.
And of course, you know, beyond this whole tragic incident has happened, definitely we need to give props to the New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern. She knows what's appropriate to a culture and situation, and she really knows how to carry herself. As you can see in the pictures right here, she is seen wearing a headscarf, right, as a mark of respect to the Islam religion, right? And what I really appreciate was that she was very sensitive to the Muslim burial process as well, and she tried her best to quicken the coroner process to meet the needs of the religion, because with, you know, the Muslim burial process, the body needs to be buried within 24 hours ideally.
It's good that she was sensitive to that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So she earlier visited Kashmir High School in Christchurch. So that school, they lost 2 students in the attack. They are teenagers, Syed Mil, and Hamza Mustafa.
Yeah.
She also spoke to about 200 children about racism and changes in gun laws. So she said, she told them never mention the perpetrator's name, never remember him for what he did, and she told the children instead to focus on the victims.
Yeah, and Ms. Ardern as well spoke to US President Donald Trump, and she told him the best way he could support New Zealand was by offering sympathy and love for all Muslim communities.
And she also called for a global response to the dangers of social media. So earlier we said that the gunmen, they live streamed 17 minutes of the carnage online. Unfortunately, while social media sharing sites have tried their best to take it down.
Yeah.
Some still remain, and they're being used by militants and hate groups to
Exactly.
further their cause.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And of course, to make her point also, a businessman was in fact remanded in custody in Christchurch on yesterday, on charges of distributing footages of one of the mosque shootings. Now, if found guilty, he can be jailed up to 14 years.
It's no joke.
Exactly.
For sharing.
Yeah, exactly.
She also called for the revision of New Zealand's gun laws. So on Thursday, today, she announced an immediate ban on military-style semi-automatic and assault rifles that were used in the attack, the same ones that were used in the attack.
Exactly. She also announced a buyback scheme for semi-automatic weapons. This clearly shows her swift response to impose this ban is certainly commendable and shows her commitment in dealing with this terror attack. Yeah. Following the attacks, also New Zealanders have also surrendered their guns. You know, some farmers who have surrendered their guns and said that, hey, you know, sure, I would need this gun, but then the other side, you know, outweighs me having a gun. You know, the fact that, you know, we want to observe safety and all that outweighs the fact that I need a gun for my work.
Because some of them, they are farmers, and you know, sometimes they have to protect their livestock from predators. Right?
Yeah.
But also in this aftermath, I think we all can see for ourselves how the country, how the Kiwis, they all banded together to show their love and support.
Exactly. Biker gangs across New Zealand have promised to stand guard outside of New Zealand Mosque for first Friday prayer since the massacre, which is tomorrow, right? And New Zealand will also hold 2 minutes of silence as a mark of respect for the date tomorrow, and the call to prayers for Muslims will be broadcast nationally.
And in the past few days, the Kiwis also gathered together in Christchurch, as well as those in Australia, for impromptu performances of the haka. So the haka is a dance of the indigenous Maori community, quite famously associated with the All Blacks, their rugby team. And I thought it was just a dance to intimidate, but turns out it's more than that.
To mourn and to show love and compassion. Have a look at the clip right here.
So there are more videos on the Christchurch, what happened after the attack, of the communities. For more videos, you can log on to straitstimes.com.
Yeah, and of course we are streaming live as well on our YouTube. That is Straits Times. So you can either watch us on Facebook, or you can also watch us via our YouTube channel, which is Straits Times. Let's take some comments. We have Samuel Chua that says, "May NZ stay strong and be with one another to show love and care for each other."
And also Jono Magdemo says, "New Zealand Prime Minister, such an inspiration in time of national tragedy. A sad event, but not so shocking. Sadly, too much of this in the world today. No longer shocking, just heartbreaking. Thoughts and prayers with victims and families."
Yeah, definitely. And for those of you, of course, again, if you've just recently joined us right here, we're coming to you live from the Straits Times newsroom, and we are talking and we are paying particular attention to one topic this week, which is the Christchurch terror attacks. And this is simply because, you know, we want to show how important it is that we stand against racism and bigotry, as we can see, you know, from the acts of the perpetrator.
And we're also discussing about how, as individuals and in society, as a society, what we can do to squash such behavior, and that we need to check ourselves too sometimes.
Exactly. You know, Alyssa, beyond this, of course, you know, there were heroes from this tragic incident, right? Survivor Farid Ahmed. Now, he lost his wife in the terror attack, but he said he had no grudge against the killer and will never hate him. So what happened was Ahmed, who is wheelchair bound, was not praying at his usual spot in the main room, but in an antechamber with a friend. The killer did not enter the chamber, and Ahmed was able to escape to the car park, where he saw the whole massacre unfold from a car that is opposite of the mosque.
We also have Naeem Rashid. Unfortunately, he did not survive.
Yep.
He emigrated from Pakistan to New Zealand 10 years ago. He was one of the victims who died along with his son Talha. He became a national hero in his native country after there was footage of the shootings which showed him trying to tackle one of the gunmen outside one of the mosques before he was shot. Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan said on Sunday that Mr. Rashid will be given a posthumous national award for bravery.
Yep. We also have Afghan refugee Abdul Aziz, who's an Australian citizen. He distracted and chased the gunman away from the second mosque with only a handheld credit card machine. Now, Mr. Aziz had been worshipping at the mosque with his 4 sons when they heard gunfire outside. He then threw the credit card machine at him before picking up an empty shotgun and chasing the gunman with it. And the gunman did run away, right? Who sped off in a car. Now, Mr. Aziz was in fact at the burial place as well. And you know, people were all hugging him and you know, thanking him for actually stepping in and helping out.
And heroes come in all forms. There is one known as the Egg Boy. His name is Will Connolly, yes. He became famous and a symbol in the fight against bigotry after he smashed an egg on the head of Australian far-right politician Fraser Anning, and you can see he retaliated by punching him twice.
Mr. Anning was widely condemned for a statement he made for blaming the massacre on Muslim immigration. Now, GoFundMe page was started for Connolly at first to kind of help him with his legal fees.
And buy more eggs.
Yeah, and buy more eggs. And it's in fact raised more than the initial goal of Aussie dollars $50,000. Money was initially intended to cover the legal fees, but of course, Connolly has decided that he will give it to the victims, right, of the terrorist attack.
Good on you, Connolly.
Yeah.
There's also been an outpouring of artistic tributes from artists all around the world. They're quite touching and quite poignant.
Yeah.
Quite
so have a look.
So those are the artworks. Which is your favorite one, or which one was the most touching for you, I should say?
For me, I would say would be the fern one, actually. Yeah, and then if you look closely, you realize that it has the pictures of
like the
people praying,
each of the
vein, as it were, right?
Yeah.
Of them praying. That's one that I like that, and the other one that I like is the Hello Brother one, because that sparked off because the first victim who was there, he actually didn't know, and he invited, you know, and he said he acknowledged the gunman with Hello Brother, thinking that he was coming in to the church, to the mosque, you know, but little did he know that, you know, the gunman was there to attack him. Which one was yours?
I guess the most touching one for me was the one where it looked like a black handprint.
Right.
But then it kind of split into two different characters, people.
Yeah.
I can't explain why it was touching. It was more of an emotional response for me.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, and for the haka as well.
Yeah, for you, the haka, yeah?
For me, like, so I mentioned earlier that I usually associate it with the All Blacks as something that's more intimidating and more warlike, you know, to like kind of like frighten your enemies. So for me to hear that, they're doing the haka for after this, my first reaction was like, really? Yeah. And then when I read more about it, and then I realized that haka is not just used to intimidate, it's also to help people to mourn, to grieve. That it made a lot more sense to me.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Let's just Sunny Low Major says, understand each other more. God bless you all. Shannon says, I'm amazed with New Zealand gun laws being so rapidly removed. Great example. Maybe one more from Alyssa. And then, sorry, do you already quote? Okay, you didn't. Okay, so Samuel Chan says, not all heroes wear capes. These are heroes who risk their lives to save many others. We salute you. Definitely. And of course, on behalf of everyone right here at Straits Times and everyone here as well, we stand by you, and of course, kia kaha, stay strong, New Zealand. And of course, with that, we will move on to other news in a minute. So in under 1 minute, we will crunch the other headlines of the week. So our first headline, Sim Lim Square is ready to go en bloc again with a higher asking price of $1.3 billion. It initially had an asking price of $1.1 billion early last year. The building was completed in 1987 and has a land size of 7,260 square meters. Our second headline, Mr. Dilhan Pillay Sandrasegaran will be appointed Chief Executive of Temasek International, with effect from April 1st. As CEO, the 55-year-old will be responsible for the role of Temasek as an active investor and shareholder, oversee the operations of the company and the organisation of its talent and resources to deliver sustainable long-term returns for Temasek. And for our last headline, 7 months after he visited Singapore, popular video blogger Nas Daily is moving here with his girlfriend and media company. In an Instagram post, his girlfriend Aline Tamir announced that she and the blogger will be moving to Singapore, and their stay could be anywhere from 2 months to 2 years. So I guess now we can say we'll have the chance to see Nas daily. And that is all we have for Onyam this week. Alright. Facebook face up. So you broke my world record last week. Exactly, with a win. Yep, so but currently I hold the record of winning 5 weeks in a row. 5 weeks in a row, exactly. So how this works, basically we trot through Straits Times Facebook page, pick out the dunnest and wittiest comments that people post, and then we go head to head, right? Yes, so if you think that Hairianto's joke, the one that he picked is funny, you type in H. If you think that the one that Alyssa picks is funnier, you type in A. Yeah? And we can go. Oh, okay? So I go first. You go first. So the first round, I go first. So this one, a maid stole more than $34,000 worth of items from a Changi Airport Group chairman and his family. Yeah. Her name is Pati Liani. So Katita says, well, I can't blame her. Her name is Party all day. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Party. Okay. Mine is of course about Egg Boy. You know, Egg Boy to donate money raised for him to New Zealand mass shooting victims. Nurul Huda Astro says, not every hero wears a cap. Some hold eggs. Well said, huh? Well said. So if you think that the comment that Alyssa picked is better, you type in A. If you think Hairianto's comment is funnier, type in H. Okay, round 2. Okay, I go. Okay. Now this is basically about rain in Marina Coastal Expressway after sprinklers activated by accident. So there's a video that showed water pouring down. Okay. So Ernest Cheng says, on the bright side, at least we know that it works. Very positive, yeah? Ernest very positive. Very good, huh? Very good, huh? Good. But I think mine is better. Okay, actually now I'm kind of second guessing myself. Okay, I'm a bit scared now. Okay, I don't mean any harm, okay? Disclaimer. Okay, so the story that I picked. Singapore Speaker Tan Chuan Jin has been unexpectedly dragged into a squabble in Malaysia's parliament. So Zheng says, okay, now that is really a capo for you, man. It's not auntie also not so jialat. Okay. But it's not jialat lah, it's jialat, not chaliat. Chailat.
Chai lat. Chai lat.
Chai lat.
Maybe it's a new word, I don't know.
Maybe it's a new word, exactly. So if you think that Alyssa's comment is funny, you type in A.
If you think Hairianto's comment is funny, type in H.
Exactly,
Okay,
exactly.
and
Around 3, okay. Ellie,
last
you go.
one. Okay, this is my trump card.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think this is good, yeah.
It is, right? Okay. So Nas daily vlogger is to move to Singapore, like we mentioned earlier, with his girlfriend and his media company.
Yeah.
So Chen Jinglong says, right now you are Nas daily. Come Singapore, if you don't like it here, don't become complain daily.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Quite funny.
That's a good point. Okay, mine. This is basically a new lane added to PIE ahead of Changi Jewel's opening. Okay? Chun Hao Lim says, don't be surprised if there's ERP. Yeah?
Oh my gosh, it's so real that actually it's not that funny. It could be real, you know.
That is true. Okay, so if you think that Alyssa in general is just funnier than I am, you type in A.
If you disagree, you think Hairianto is generally funnier than I am, type in H.
Okay, so we'll give you some time, you know, to write more H's so that I can win.
I see.
Let's see, what else have people said?
Maybe some comments. Okay, so Graham scolded me. He said, wow, making fun of people's names. But it's funny. Party all day. Party all day. Okay, hi Collins Boo. He's hello from Bali. Hello. Oh, Samuel Chua, I remember last week you were this thorough as well. So Samuel Chua listed like which round who wins
Exactly. We noticed that.
Hmm.
Miles Gives Beast. Yeah! Alright, hi Miles. H mates, thank you. Tune in late tonight. Hope you guys are well. Hope you are.
I don't think
well.
he said H mate. I think he meant to say hi mate, but he missed it.
No. He said H. No, H. Producer, please take that as a vote for me, okay?
Sure.
Samuel Chua asks, what happened to Judge Joe? Judge Joe, yeah
Too many cases to handle, Judge Joe.
Correct, yeah. So tonight he can't be with us. What else do we have?
Okay. So
yeah.
Samizdat Joe says,
yeah.
Gotta go with H this week. Ellie, your comments tonight really China. They were pretty good.
Okay, Samizdat Joe, that's H for me, yes. Graham Peng Leng says, Alyssa, you no need pick any comment, sure win one.
I would like to win on merit, you know. I would like to think that I win on merit and not for other reasons. You know?
Where got such thing? What thing so sad, Samuel Chua?
Okay, we'll do a countdown. So currently we are tied.
Okay, more H's please. But of course, you know, for those of you who have just joined us, you can still watch us, you know, just replay the video because the video is still going to be on Facebook, it's going to be on our YouTube as well, Straits Times.
It will never be deleted.
Yeah, and of course, put in your comments because over the week we'll be reading them as well, right?
You still want to win after the show, Anna?
No lah, I'm just saying that, no, what I mean is put in comments to what we've discussed.
Oh, okay.
Alyssa! Ayo! Kevin Keplinger, sorry, apologies if I've got your name wrong. Hi from your friend in the US.
Hi.
Hello to you.
Hello.
Samuel Chua wants to vote for JJJ, right? Not
Okay,
bad, not bad.
So I think
okay, are we ready?
Countdown. Yeah. 5.
Okay, 5.
4,
Come on, put your H's. 3.
2.
I see my friend Gifford
1.
has just
and the director says it's a draw.
It's a draw.
It's a draw.
It's a draw.
Oh, it's a draw.
So does that mean both our names will appear?
You are both winners. You are both winners.
No names. Where is my garland? Oh, okay. So everybody. Okay, so it's one by one. Yeah.
Okay,
you
so
cannot do everything. You cannot do. Okay. Oh, my mom just voted for me. A bit too late lah, mom. And Gifford, my friend, says hi, Yan. Hello, Gifford, to you. Again, we hope you guys have enjoyed this week's topic. Of course, you know, as we mentioned, we focus on one particular topic today, which is on the Christchurch terror attack, simply because, you know, we want to highlight the importance of standing up against hate speech, against racism, against bigotry.
If you'd like to add to the discussion, please don't hesitate to leave it in the comments anytime.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, you know, for more news and videos, you can log on to straitstimes.com.
We're also on social media, Instagram, Twitter and YouTube.
Yep. So next week we'll still be on same time on Facebook, our Facebook page
and
YouTube, and YouTube as well. So once again, she's Alyssa.
And he's Hairianto.
Goodbye and see you next week.